A man in Colorado may have made history on Saturday night. This bizarre story starts around 11:30 p.m. Police officer in Springfield spotted a Dodge Charger doing 52 in a 30. I think Biggie used to drive a Dodge Charger.
Oh, yes.
There were 3 people in the car, 2 men, 1 woman. The officer turned on his lights, of course, because the car was speeding, and pretty soon the Dodge pulled over. As the cop watched, during the moment where it took him to get out of his vehicle and walk up to the Dodge, the driver tried to switch places with someone else in the car. Classic Dodge.
Watched my mother do it once.
Yeah.
The night you were over at the Scheffelmans or wherever?
The Brutons. Yeah. Margie Bruton.
Mm-hmm.
We were out in their van.
We were playing Bunko or something?
Yeah, we had been playing. They had been playing Rook. They were playing Rook, but we were...
Played that in 5th grade.
Yeah, we're going to play Rook. They'd go over and play Rook.
Is that the one with the black bird?
Yeah, had the bird on it. Yeah, that was like the main card. You didn't want to get stuck with the Rook.
They don't want the Rook.
Point is, they're playing Rook and smoking.
Are the cocktails flowing or the beers?
It was my dad and his friend David had beers. I don't know if my mom and Margie were drinking much because they drove later. They played Rook for a while and they smoked. I mean, 2 of them smoked. My mom and dad didn't, but the Brutons did. And I was just sitting playing my Atari in the middle of all that smoke. Well, we drove somewhere and we had to get on. We had to get off on 220, and there was a license check. And
switch seats.
Well, Margie was driving, and she was a bigger woman. And she goes, "Oh, my God," to my mother. She goes, "I don't have my license. My license is out of date."
Oh, riding dirty.
That's right. And her husband, David, said, "Swap with Kat." That's my mother. She swapped with Kat. And my mother said, "I don't know. I don't know if I should." And David's like, "You'll do it." And they did. They made the swap. And I was sitting there in the back seat, eyes huge. I didn't even know what was going on. But
They switch seats.
Right. When
the little narc in the back.
Yes.
The worst little narc in the back.
And I just couldn't hold my tongue as the cop was walking toward I said to my dad, "I'm going to tell the police." And boy, both of my father and his friend David
Grab you by the scruff of the neck.
And they got through it, but boy,
you point the flashlight in the back of the conversion van.
There I was.
I was told at school to always tell a police officer the truth.
That's right.
Daddy always told me that.
Man
in blue, friend of you. I always heard that. All did.
It was a rough crossing.
And she cheated at Rook.
Okay. She did. She would cheat at Rook. Now, she would. Margie would. Margie would cheat at Rook.
Margie cheated at Rook, and you're Esther?
Yeah.
Margie cheated at everything.
Boy, when it was Margie's daughter that I went to the skating rink with. I was telling that story yesterday about when I had to crawl across the entire skating rink.
She was older than
Parents
you?
are criminals.
Yeah. She was older than me.
How much older? Because there's a big difference when you're that age.
Pretty good. I'd say she was about 15. I was about 10.
Ooh, that's a gulf.
Yeah. So, I mean, she left me immediately. As soon as she got there, she started skating with her friends.
Your mama's a lawbreaker.
She could lose some LBs, too.
She was a larger woman. But she made, God knows, she made a baked spaghetti to die for.
Well, look at her.
I mean, did very, very well with the baked spaghetti. Doggone. That's a good time.
Yeah.
But I remember the swap was difficult because there was a weight issue.
Yeah, and you risk being seen.
Oh, yeah, because she was trying to go under my mother. Which not easy.
Well, you've got to go little over big.
Not easy. Yeah,
Sally Field and Burt Reynolds tried it in Smokey.
They did. They tried it.
They couldn't do it.
They had a hard time.
It was difficult. They were talking after we got through the traffic check, and Margie's hypothesis was they knew what was going on but gave us a break because it was. I mean, the van started moving from one side to the other.
And when the van is a rocket,
and I was back in the back seat. My eyes were great big, and I was trembling. I didn't know what was.
Well, there is more leg room in a van. This is a Dodge Charger.
The thing was there was like a table between them. It was one of those.
Yeah,
it was
captain's
table.
It's called the captain's table.
Yeah, it was was a big old...
It was a captain's chair and a captain's table.
I bet the chairs swivel.
Yes,
they
they
did.
did. They did.
Yeah.
I mean, I had plenty of room, but for those two,
Watch the road. I'm having lunch.
to negotiate that table was not easy.
Are you telling me your daddy didn't look out the windshield and say, "That's old Charlie Taylor. He ain't gonna bother us"?
Well, we were out of the county by that point. We were in a different county. We were going about 40 miles north. You know, had to go to we probably had dinner at Piccadilly.
Maybe over to the mall.
Well, that's where we were going.
Okay.
After and they played Rook before and after. Good God, what a Friday night! That's a Friday night. For
Yeah.
Those are the days you remember.
that's a good one. But they were smoking and they did that.
Yeah, so the
This is
same thing happened in
yeah.
Colorado. They tried to do the old switcheroo. The 28-year-old man who was the driver tried to switch places with someone else in the car. A dog.
Well, now
There was a dog in the
Okay.
passenger seat of the Dodge. Here's what makes this even crazier. The officer, A, saw it. B, the man and woman in the back seat were sober. They were sober. The
God.
guy was drunk.
oh my.
He tried to make a run for it because he got out the passenger side door, but
Yes.
he only made it 20 yards, the officer says, before he was
Yes.
arrested. No one is sure why
Yeah.
the drunk was driving and the sobers were in the back.
Yeah, what's the point there? You know, I mean, they could have done it the other way. And the dog, of course, you're never going to get away with that. That's just it.
Some people
there.
just want to drive.
Yeah.
Can't talk them out of it.
There's
We've seen it.
a woman in South Carolina got caught pregnant. She was in the passenger seat as well. Man and woman driving were pulled over. When the deputies got to the side of the car, they both looked nervous. And the driver said, "Well, she's pregnant. That's why we're nervous." And the officer said, "What's the due date?" And they both immediately gave different dates by like months. She wasn't pregnant at all. She had cocaine hidden in her fake belly bump.
Cocaine belly.
Cocaine belly. She had a fake baby bump with the cocaine in there. They were distributors, and they got caught on the roads of South Carolina.
Pretty
And,
funny picture of a cop holding it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see it.
he's holding it after
Yeah.
she's been arrested.
Yeah, it's a
wearing
big-
it himself.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's got it strapped down. He's like, yeah.
Look at me. I'm pregnant.
I know. And she wasn't pregnant at all, and she looked 6 months pregnant.
Did that just work out for the cop, or did he think that might happen if he asked, "When's it due"?
That's a good question. But they were acting nervous, so he kept asking questions. He said,
Because Andy Griffith would ask.
Yeah.
He'd sit there and say, "When's it due?"
When's it due?
And Barney would say, "When's it due?"
Right,
but
right.
it's, "Oh, well,
Right.
newlyweds, you don't know the date."
I don't know, but they messed it up.
There's a movie called The Cooler. It's not a big movie, but it's a dark movie set in like Vegas casinos, the seedy Vegas casinos with Alec Baldwin.
Oh, yes.
He's the old-time casino boss who runs casinos with an iron fist. If you cheat, he breaks your fingers. And you break those out. Well, one of the characters there is the Cooler, and his son comes to town, and he's a con man, the son is, and he gets money from his dad, who's played by William Macy. And his son is, "You're going to be a grandpa." He tells William Macy, "You're going to be a grandpa. We're pregnant." And so, but the son is also cheating at craps.
Yes.
So the son goes to the casino with the money that his dad has given him at Alec Baldwin's casino and is cheating at craps. Baldwin catches him. They take the guy and the pregnant woman back to the back where they break the kid's fingers, break his hands. And Baldwin punches the woman right in the gut. It's fake.
Yeah, it's not a real.
How he knew,
Yeah.
there's no indication, but he goes, "Oh my God, it's a boy."
Yeah, and it's fake.
Just a terrifying scene.
Oh, yeah.
Gut-wrenching
Punched
scene.
her right in the belly. I saw it. That's a good movie, too.
It's a good flick.
Not many people have seen it, but it's really good. This is a woman. Now, a minute ago, we had the woman who was giving a public service announcement on how to pump gas. Always ground yourself by touching your car so that you don't spark off a fire. Now, this flight attendant is going viral because of what she does when she goes into a hotel room. Of course, she travels all the time. And every time she goes into a hotel room, she goes through these steps. And the one that's catching everybody's attention is the check of the mirror.
I'm a flight attendant and this is my hotel check-in routine. I start by checking the room for any unwanted guests before adding my do not disturb sign and of course locking and deadbolting the door shut. I then have a quick check for any hidden cameras or any two-way mirrors using the fingernail technique. I lock any valuables such as passports and documents into the safe. I then like to give my room a quick sanitize down, focusing on items that are commonly used within the hotel room. Then it's finally time to remove my uniform and take a nice, hot, well-deserved shower.
So what everybody zeroed in on is what's the fingernail check that you
Yes.
do on the mirror to make sure it's not a two-way mirror. And what you do is, I read this and then I actually did a little bit of a deeper dive and saw it. When you put your finger tip on a mirror, if you look at it, there's a gap between your finger and the reflection. Just a small, you know what I'm saying? Like a small gap as you look at it. if it's a two-way mirror, there is no gap. It's just, it looks as if you are pressing against the mirror, which you are, you know. And so she does that fingernail check, and that's how you know if it's a two-way mirror, there's no gap as you look at it. Very weird. I didn't even realize that there was a gap when you put it on. You can still see a little bit of mirror, you know, between. So I looked at it, but they said that's not always accurate. That you can't always trust that. And basically, they said take it off the wall. And if it's hooked to the wall, it's more likely to be a two-way mirror. Which in hotels, it's almost always hooked to the wall, you know.
Yeah.
I do something similar.
Do you?
I do. I go in, I take off all my clothes. I then lay spread eagle on the bed.
Yep.
And wait, you'll hear the camera clicking off. Normally, you'll hear a sound from the mirror.
Abandoned ship.
That's
Abort.
right.
Abort.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know that. The other day, I had something happen. And I know BB Shea knows this. I was using the bathroom here on Friday, okay? And I came out of the bathroom and I didn't wash my hands. Now, this was Friday.
Kelly.
I was leaving for the day, and I did not wash my hands. And I thought to myself, fine.
I don't think that matters that you're leaving for the day.
I know that. That's fine.
Was it a pee-pee or a poo-poo?
A pee-pee, and I barely touched myself. And I actually considered. I did. I barely.
Who's in there with you
I barely
touching?
touched myself. It was a pee-pee. I would never do that after a poo-poo, but after a pee-pee, I said, you know what?
Why do you sound like Donald Trump right now?
I'm leaving.
It was a pee-pee. I barely touched myself.
And I knew. I was like,
It's Friday. I'm celebrating and I'm not washing.
I'm leaving. It was Friday. It was the
I
last.
didn't eat a bagel.
Okay.
You wanted a bagel, but
I didn't have it.
have one.
It was the last thing I was doing before leaving for the day. I barely even touched my genitals. And I said, you know.
My urine is so clean.
So I'm not washing my hands. So I flushed and immediately opened the door. Well, it's still flushing mid-flush. And I come face to face with BB Shea.
Bone dry hands.
Bone dry. And he looks at me and I look at him and we just stare at each other.
Chin to beard.
Now, he didn't say anything. And I said, well, have a nice weekend. But I know that he knows that I didn't wash my hands. And ever since then, it's been very icy between us.
Well, you two will have to share a plate later this morning,
I know.
correct?
I
For
know.
the weekly meeting?
That's right. He knows a lot
I
about
wonder if he'll
me.
bring it up in some sort of offhand way, in that BB Shea way,
He does have a way about
in
it.
front of the group.
I thought about it all weekend.
Make sure Kelly eats last.
Exactly.
You don't know where those hands have been.
I thought about it all
Yeah,
weekend.
don't touch those salad tongs after Kelly touched them.
For a long time, I was like, does he know? Does he know? He does. There's no question about it that he knows.
He knows your salary and he knows you're fetid.
That's right. He knows
You're
two
unsanitary.
things about me. Two things. An email was accidentally sent with my salary about a year and a half ago, and it's been icy between us ever since.
Not as icy as his house in the winter.
That's right.
See, you've always got something to fall back
That's
on.
right. That's right. He has zero money, and he saw my salary.
He was pushing broom last year.
That's right. He's pushing broom. That was his thing. He was in the janitorial services last year.
Boy, got to eat. Look at him.
And I thought to myself,
Oh, wait for this week's
Man,
rap.
I
I'm
know.
actually looking forward to the rap. It might be a 2-minute treatise on
it could be.
bathroom
on
habits.
washing your hands. Exactly.
What is it, Kelly? Why?
I don't know. Listen, I wash my
I mean,
hands.
you touched the lever. That's enough.
I did touch the lever. I
Yeah.
thought to myself, I had.
With all the workplace poopers we have in here,
Yeah.
I know. You're right, because there
That's
are.
the dirtiest thing. That and then the handles really for the
faucet.
For the faucet are the two filthiest things in there.
Well, you have to turn that off after you wash your hands. The
No, you
handle
can
for-
use a paper towel though.
Oh, you're
Or you
right.
could use a paper towel to turn it on, but
Yeah.
you would never do that.
No, I don't do that. What about the door?
doorknob.
Doorknob?
Paper towel.
Paper towel? Yeah.
I paper towel the doorknob and the
Do you
faucet
really?
here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then hold it open and throw it away?
Yep.
Yep. With your foot? Yeah.
Next time, just get BB Shea to hold it for you.
You mean it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
BB Shea, you see how much I make, right? Yeah. I'll hold this.
Here, Friday rap about that. But celebrate this in your rap.
Hey, last time we bumped into each other, it was awkward. So this time, why don't you just hold it?
What a terrific suggestion. I'm
Yes.
really tired of washing my hands.
you know.
The toilets half full, not half empty.
I mean, that's right.
You know what America has too much of? Hand washing.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. I didn't want to waste the water. I knew I was getting right back in.
That's-
I was getting right in my car.
So what did you do? Where was your, now that your car's tainted, where did you go on the way home? Straight home? Would you go to the gym? Did you get your $12 salad?
No, straight home. I went straight home.
Did you wash?
No, I don't
later
remember.
that night.
I don't remember. Maybe I did when I went in because it was on my mind that BB Shea encounter to see his eyes and the disappointment.
Let's see. BB rhymes with PP.
Right.
Okay, so here's the first verse.
He's going to wrap that thing. I know he's going to wind up putting that in the wrap. And I thought to myself, he's going to slip it in there. So I wanted to go ahead and be open about it, and say it before.
Doesn't make it better.
Before he slips it in there.
No.
I want you to know that is not a normal occurrence for me.
This is not who I am.
Right. This is not. I'm like, what?
Sure.
You're John Moran.
I'm John Moran. This is not who I am. This is not who I am.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah. It'll happen again, though.
Listen, if anyone's offended by that, I apologize. That is not who I am. I am deeply, 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 deeply moved. And I'm upset that BB Shea saw it. And I think he knows. Don't you think he knows? I think he knew.
Yeah.
I think for 3 days he's known.
Well, the likelihood of him being a hand washer is low, too.
Well, I mean, yeah, you may be in that same
I
club.
didn't think about
You
that.
even give him the code sign.
Yeah,
You
maybe
can stick together.
Maybe he and I now have something in common that he's not washing his hands.
I mean, we've seen him eat mayonnaise out of his beard.
You're right.
Think those are clean hands?
What a great point. He probably doesn't.
I film things with him, and I don't let him touch anything in my home.
Right. He comes over to your house. You don't let him touch. That's a great
No.
point. Maybe we're on the. Maybe he's looking at me like a leader now, or like, oh, we're in the club together. Not judgmental.
One
but
of us.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the club.
And frankly, I don't think the workplace poopers, the likelihood of them washing their hands is low, too.
Oh, God, no.
50-50. Yeah, there's a lot of
I bet
that.
if you turn that sink on, it'd just be like, somebody wake me up.
Dust will come out of there.
Yeah.
I know.
We should black light the toilet.
Yeah.
The bathroom.
You're like shutting down a two-way mirror.
Yeah.
Good point. Those are all good points, but you really saw inside this.